All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson, and it's pretty much an impromptu. I'm here at the job, and my spirit, wanted to get in the lesson. I ain't really had nothing, set. And, just sitting here, thinking about a few happenings, things that's going on in the world and going on within Israel. And something that kind of sparked my spirit, and it took me back to a verse that I had read, I think it was Monday or Tuesday early on in this week, and it was in the book of Titus. Now, when you go in the book of Titus, Apostle Paul wrote to him, just pretty much telling him, look, go out and, show people, the true believers, how to live and make sure they're pushing the right doctrine, right? Make sure they're pushing the right doctrine. I'm going to start with that precept. But as I was thinking about, just the things that's going on in the world and within Israel, my mind started, considering, the Captain Tazariak video, in ISUPK coming out again, saying John the Baptist wasn't in the truth, or he fell out the truth because he never followed Christ, because he never followed Yahweh, right? You have IUIC, who every month they got a new Mark of the Beast breakdown, right? They drop a new breakdown every month, something new. It's embargoed and it's sinned and it may be a microchip, but it ain't so it's always changing, and I'm just kind of building to the point of what I want to speak on. But you got the likes of Sakari, the likes of Sakari, how they don't they don't believe in Paul's writings. They don't believe Paul's writings ain't divinely inspired by the Heavenly Father. So now, since you don't believe that, you proclaimed that and stood on that on video, now you have Christians going up to Sakari, asking them questions, and they get nervous. See, they being backed into a corner by Christians. Why? Because it all goes back to the doctrine. And that's what we're starting to see. And that's what we're going to see even more as the time gets closer to the end, man. The Lord sent specific men to the earth, and those men was going to be your teachers. Like I say, I'm going to give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. The thing is, you have a lot of men out here who thinking they feeding the sheep, but the Lord ain't send them. The Lord ain't send them. And the things that they feeding the sheep are not beneficial to the hearers, man. Because they're not warning the people about the proper prophecies, the MOTB. They out. You got some camps, they ain't giving you the Lord name, the Heavenly Father real name. They ain't giving you Yahweh Shai real name, right? You got these camps not really preparing their people, man, for the troubles that's about to go on. And the thing is, you have a lot of people out here with these false doctrines, and they constantly changing them. It's a lot. You got the trucks passing, and they constantly changing them. Why? Because it's not the truth. Look at the apostles. The doctrine of truth haven't been changed. Now have breakdowns been I don't want to say upgraded. I don't want to use revised either. But for lack of better words, the Lord he poured out more understanding over time. So therefore, the apostles of Great Millstone was able to go back over older breakdowns, maybe some things that they learned from the school, and get them right. But the doctrine haven't changed. And the thing is, you have a lot of people out here. Why they got to keep changing the doctrine? Because it's not the truth. Matter of fact, it's Swiss cheese. It got holes all in it. You got holes all in it. You looking like Queen Latifah at the end of Set It Off. Yeah, see these camps, they doctrine looking like Queen Latifah at the end of Set It Off. All them holes in that doctrine, man, and therefore it could be picked apart. You can't really stand on what you talking about. You can't really be confident in that because people could pick through that, man. But let me get this first precept. I don't want to talk too much. Like I said, it's an impromptu. Just want to kind of get some thoughts off, and you go see it even more as we get closer to the end. Because the Lord said that at the end of the show, speak and not lie. And also the Heavenly Father said, I think it's in Ezekiel 12, that the time coming, well, within the nation of Israel, nobody go be able to have a vain vision or a flattering divination. Meaning what? You ain't gonna better say anything you just want to say. You know? Give breakdowns you just want to give. And people gonna start seeing that what these false pastors and teachers saying, it ain't happening. But let's go ahead and get this, man. Let's go ahead and get this. This is Titus chapter 2, and this shouldn't be long. This Titus chapter 2, and I'm going to read the NLT. The point in 8, but I'm going to start at 7. Titus 2 and 7 in the NLT. It says, and you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. It says, and you must be an example to them. Let's read that again. Titus 2 and 7 in the NLT. It says, and you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. Let everything you do reflect the integrity and seriousness of your teaching. And a lot of camps, you see, they ain't really serious. Hey, even ChatGPT, you ask ChatGPT who the most serious camp, they'll tell you Great Millstone. Great Millstone serious about prophesying. They really with it, you know. But that's what Apostle Paul is saying right here. Make sure you're serious about our teaching, man. Let's continue. Verse 8, it says, and teach the truth. Check this out. And teach the truth. Key word, and teach the truth. Don't just teach anything. It says teach the truth. And why it's important to give the 100% truth? Let's read on. It says, and teach the truth. Why? So that your teaching can't be criticized. Come on, man. Let's look at that word criticize. Criticize. This is from the Merriam-Webster. It says to consider the merits, to judge, to find fault with, to point out faults. Let's go back. That's cold, man. It says teach the truth. The pure truth. Why? Because if you teach the truth, nobody won't have nothing to say to you, man. Think about it. Why when the apostles to Harlem say, our brothers in Great Millstone, why when the apostles, bishops, or elders say Great Millstone got 100% truth? Right? Why when we say that, now you hear people, they'll say something like this, man, they say they the only ones with truth, so God ain't dealing with none of us either? See, they'll say stuff like that. But why is it, and seriously think about this, why is it that when the apostles say we have 100% truth, why nobody come at us with questions on a doctrine and question us and test the doctrine? Oh, y'all got 100% truth? Well, what about this? What about this? You know why they don't? Because they know Great Millstone, we're going to go straight into them scriptures and prove what we saying. Now, think about it. Put the shoe on the other foot. If Bishop Nate was to come out and say, IUIC, we got 100% truth, what you think Great Millstone gonna do? You gonna have brothers do buku lessons and pick apart their doctrine. Well, if y'all do, you have a brother doing a lesson on a name, a brother asking them questions about the MOTB breakdown, brothers asking them questions about this, right? If ISUPK try to come out and say we got 100% truth, we got many questions to ask you. Why? Because it ain't the truth. They got holes in their doctrine, and they Queen Latifah at the end of Set It Off. You can pierce through that, man. But with this truth, even if you ask a question, guess what? It can be answered. Let's read this again in Titus. Man. You know, like Bishop Nate, he got all nervous when Ron Dalton came on there to debate him. Yeah, we ain't getting nervous. We know what it is. You know, we ain't shying away from it. Oh, you want to talk about the great doctrine? Let's go to it. Yeah. You see? But the other people, these other so-called teachers and leaders, they shy away from certain topics because they know they ain't got it. They don't want to talk about certain breakdowns, MOTB. They get tired of talking about it because they don't want to get questioned on it because they don't got it. But if you got the truth, let's go back and read. And Salaki from Iran, I'm about to wind it down. This Titus 2:7 and verse 8 in the NLT. Verse 7. And you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. And let everything you do reflect the integrity and seriousness of your teaching. Teach the truth so that your teaching can't be criticized. If we teach the pure truth, nobody should have nothing to say. Now, granted, people ain't gonna feel it, they ain't gonna agree, but they can't go in the Bible and say, you wrong here. They can't pull a precept and say, you wrong here. They can't, because we going in the same Bible and get many other precepts to say, we right here. We right, and it's not us, it's through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Shurach HaKodash, of course. But again, that's why we are so confident in the things that we saying, because we know it's the truth, man. So it says, teach the truth so that your teaching can't be criticized. And then those who oppose us will be ashamed and have nothing bad to say about us, man. Because when it's all said and done, nobody gonna have shit to say. You see? When it's all said and done, Captain Katazak from ISUPK, I wish he would say Jacob's trouble was gay when he in Jacob's trouble. Please. Right? Please. I wish these camps, they ain't gonna fix their mouth and say the MOTB ain't the RFID CHIP when it's mandated. They ain't gonna say that. Why? Because they gonna be in it. Then they gonna be ashamed. Matter of fact, speaking of ashamed, 2 Timothy 2. Let's get that real quick. 2 Timothy 2, I think it's 15. Yep. This is why this verse is important. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Study to show thyself approved. Oh, I got another one. Chief Ephraim. So, you know, niggas always want to say shit like he came out the other day asking, well, I don't think the MOTB is the chip. Because Russia ain't doing what America doing. BRICS sure ain't doing what NATO doing. Which you saying those statements, that show me you ain't watching. See, niggas be talking, but when the true prophets hear you, we see how simple you are, man. And the statements and the questions you got is not profound as you think it is. You're really making yourself look foolish, man. But going back to Chief Ephraim, so when he came out and said all that, what I did, I went on their camp page. Let me see what you talking about. Let me see what spirit you in. And it's the same shit from the old 2010 era Israelites. Deuteronomy 28. Esau, you know, the white man, the devil. Everybody passed, you cussing them out, right? Sister, wear your pants. Nigga, she don't even know she can't wear pants, right? Brother, why you buying on the Sabbath? He don't even know what the Sabbath is. See, when you go to these, come on, man. When you go to these people's pages and listen to them teach and preach, they don't really got it. Because you know why? They've been parrots this whole time. They haven't really studied to show themselves approved. They niggas just been, and I'm saying this, you know, I ain't being proud when I say it, because, you know, a lot of these so-called teachers and prophets, they've been in longer than I have. So it is a respect factor that is there. Right, but as far as these men works and the pride they coming in, they ain't got it, man. And that's being truthful. They ain't got it. And you show men don't really study. They just took what they knew, maybe from the old school. They just took what they knew coming up on a certain elders from back then, and that's it. You see, they ain't level up on prophecy. They ain't level up on their understanding. They ain't grow. You know, the Lord ain't give them no epiphany that hit them and like, oh shit. You know, they ain't doing that. They just saying the same shit from when we all came in, you know, a long time ago. Just see somebody get cut. Let's go back to this. I just said all that to say these so-called teachers ain't really studying, man. That's why they able to ask. That's why they have to ask questions and say, well, I don't think it's the CHIP because, you know, Russia and BRICS ain't getting along. Bro, you're not watching. Everybody moving digital, going digital. You know? But let me get this, man. The 2 Timothy 2 and 15, it says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, man. And see over here at Great Millstone, that's what we've been raised up to do, this is the school of the prophets. Whether you believe it or not, this is the school of the prophets. We have been raised up to be serious about this thing, man, to put in the work, to study. not just wait on another man to tell us, you know? And you starting to see, and eventually you're going to see more, the difference between us and these other so-called camps and teachers and leaders. Think about it. We the only camp, Great Millstone, the only camp who, first I say this, every other camp within Israel, each male member, they don't have to do the work. Each male member in every camp, it's not a duty for them to do lessons. It's not a duty for them to do certain things. You know, yeah, in all these other camps you have your leaders, you know, your elders, and then you have select men under them who do all the teaching. In every camp you have the famous men who do the main teaching, but then you have certain men under them who will do a lesson here and there. It's only one camp, starting from the head on down to the brother who just came in yesterday. In Great Millstone, we ought to put in the work, man, individually. And that sound like it was told to the apostles and prophets during the last days that we was going to have to do our own work. But you see a lot of men, they not really doing their own studies, man. They ain't really getting into this thing, man. And it's going to show. Oh, shit, it's showing. It's showing by way of the doctrine and by way of how men moving. But let's finish this and not end it. I ain't even want it to be this long. 2 Timothy 2:15 again. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman in need of not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Man, I get one more. It's Luke 21. This came to mind. Luke 21:15. It says, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom." Right? "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay or resist." Yahweh Shah put the true truth in his prophet's mouth, and nobody will be able to come up against that doctrine, man. You know? And they ain't have to keep changing their breakdown either. It's just going to be that. You see? But I'm going to end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim El Shah, Bashim Rachak Wadash, and with that, Shalom.